So one of the tests you've developed is called the 5-1-5 test, where we have a load for 5 minutes and then 1 minute of rest, and then we repeat the load for another 5 minutes, and then we step up through 4 or 5 loads. Can you tell us a little bit about that? So first of all, let's start. Why do you do loads for 5 minutes? That's longer than is typical. So can you tell us?
That's a bad question, because it will be a very critical answer. Whenever we decide a protocol, we decide on a number,
sure,
which physiologically is not. We not can back it up.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially 5, because I have 5 fingers. If I would have worked in the wood industry, I may have had 4-1-4. And many people actually do a 4-1-4 because then it gives a sequence of 5-5.
Okay.
Because if you do a lot of testing, you get lost because you talk with the athletes. So I think I took 5-1-5 because more and more papers show that if we like to get a feedback on the physiological reaction of your body, shorter times are not optimal. So when we do a 1 or a 2 or 3 minute tests like we all classically do, because it saves time,
mm-hmm,
and time is money, we obviously often not create a situation that all the physiological system in the team can work. So we have like a team approach. You have 4 workers,
mm-hmm,
and 2 are very smart and fast. So you explain a concept, and immediately after a minute they run and do the job.
mm-hmm.
And the other 2 just have first to watch a little bit till they realize, oh, actually, they would be even faster or more efficient if we actually would help and take a shuffle to load up the truck.
Okay.
And the physiological systems are the same. You have some systems, they functionally react very fast to survive. So I shoot beside you with a pistol, you immediately will have an adrenaline release. It's one of the good workers who immediately helps you to open blood vessels that you can actually react.
Right.
But your blood flow is actually not activated just because I shoot with a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So now you may stand up and start running, and due to the activity you start to increase more blood flow, and you do more and more and more. So now the heart becomes more effective, your cardiac output goes up, not just because you go up with the frequency from the initial shot, but because more blood circulates in the working area, your stroke volume goes up because you have more blood coming to the heart. So the heart rate actually even could come a bit back down by the same intensity because your stroke volume can go up.
So this is giving the body time to reach homeostasis.
Exactly, to give all the team workers in your body a chance that if you guys like to participate in that particular performance,
mm-hmm,
it would be much more efficient because I would not have to do all the job. You do a little bit and you do a little bit.
Sure.
So the breathing gets a bit deeper, it gets a bit quieter, it's more efficient. The heart works a bit more efficient, the muscle works a bit more efficient, the blood vessels have time to open.
Okay.
So we see in many test situations that we force a response from the body due to the protocol of the test,
mm-hmm,
and not due that the body actually has to do it, because that's the only way you can do it.
Okay. Okay. So then why do we do the 1 minute rest? What's the point of that?
So that's the other interesting point. So I mean, if I do a 5 minutes load, and I know now I potentially have the majority of the team workers in that approach, what I like to do, then I have now an information. For example, in VO2, that I know, okay, these 4 guys suck that much oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I see the VO2 on that level.
Right.
These 4 guys obviously produce so much energy use that some of them may work a bit harder, some not as hard. And when I take a lactate sample, I know, okay, these 4 guys created that lactate, but I don't know which one actually created it and which one actually used some of them I created. So what I see is the end product of the whole team. So I have to say, well, how do I get rid of some of the team workers that I know what the other guys are doing?
Okay.
So when I start immediately, then you will see on a NIRS machine that you see a rapidly drop of SMO2.
That's very typical.
But
yeah.
the heart rate is very low.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to say, well, obviously the delivery system and heart rate is a part of the delivery information was overwhelmed, so I had to take the oxygen from somewhere. And the big discussion is where I take it from.
Sure.
But the fact is that I see SMO2 dropping fast, which works a little bit against what we traditionally believe, that when I start out immediately, it's so-called anaerobic. So I shouldn't see a drop in SMO2 actually. I should see nothing happen with oxygen because I seem not to use it.
If you're not using any.
Yeah,
right.
but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that opens immediately a critical question. Is it really so that the first 30, 40 seconds, whatever, we don't use oxygen? NIRS would argue, if the technology is right, that we use some oxygen.
Sure.
So once I run then these 4 or 5 minutes, I can see often that SMO2 actually recovers. Meaning, obviously, other group who can actually deliver oxygen say, well, after the initial shock, we can deliver more than you actually use, so SMO2 will go nicely up.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have it very high. But now I don't know who the heck delivers and who the heck uses it.
Right.
What I know for sure is that the heart and the vital organs need a certain amount of oxygen. What I also know is to survive, I not actually have to run. So if I now have a certain high heart rate balanced, as you said, homeostasis, I have a relatively stable respiratory situation, and I have a relatively stable SMO2, and I do the opposite from starting. I bang,
Suddenly stop. Yes.
Now I have that what we discussed lag time. The worker who first were watching what you're actually doing are now involved, but they not suddenly stop because they're too slow.
Right.
So now I still have a high heart rate. I still have a relatively high respiratory activity, but I have no demand anymore because the leg got forced to stop immediately.
So the leg stops consuming the oxygen
Exactly.
almost immediately, but the heart.
The delivery guy still delivers.
They keep on delivering
Exactly.
for that minute.
Exactly. So what I then would expect is if I deliver more than I actually use, I should see when I do nothing an additional peak.
Sure.
And that's what we actually see.
Okay.
Sometimes we don't see, but these are special cases because the guy's already completely loaded.
Right.
But that doesn't mean he deliver more.
Okay.
So by making a minute rest, and the minute has no physiological justification, it's just easy in a test to see goes once around.
Right.
Some people need perhaps longer. We don't know, but that's the beauty on this machine. We will see more and more developed ideas coming out, and I don't say that 5 on 5 is a gospel. It's for us a good tool for the moment
Sure.
to figure a whole bunch of stuff out.